Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. We are back, and what a difference a week makes in football. This time last week, I was sat here on AdamMcKola TV on the Weekly United saying, put some respect on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's name. And this time around, 7 days later, we are sitting here with rumours circulating that Manchester United have approached Mauricio Pochettino in discussions about potentially taking over from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what has happened in that week to see us come this far, and obviously see us get these rumours about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future probably earlier than many of us expected in this season. We all assumed that if he hit some poor form, a bad patch of form, the rumours would circulate. But after the end of last season, when Manchester United finished third in the league, it felt like it was going to be a positive start to the campaign. Now it hasn't been that way. Manchester United's form continued at home in the last week. When you look at that result against Arsenal, it continued to be poor. It continued to be below the standard that Manchester United have set themselves. And despite that brief respite of that victory against RB Leipzig in the Champions League, the poor form at Old Trafford, which has carried on from the back end of last season and into the beginning of this season, continued with that poor performance and that poor result against an Arsenal side that they may have improved under Arteta, but they're not a great Arsenal side. And it was a poor performance from Manchester United, and something that we come to expect better of. We also saw an abysmal performance in Istanbul, a performance that lacked organisation, a performance that lacked cohesion, a performance that lacked leaders, a performance that lacked any real football sense. Like, when you looked at some of the mistakes that Manchester United made, they were basics. They were mistakes that if we made them in school, playing for our school football team, we would have been bollocked. They were basic mistakes. And when you see things like that, you can only start to worry. Now, because Mauricio Pochettino has been on Monday Night Football this week, obviously the rumours have begun even, before the defeat against Istanbul. But, as expected, those rumours would have been there anyway. And regardless of Mauricio Pochettino's availability, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have been under pressure, because the start that Manchester United have had and the home form that we have shown isn't good enough. It isn't good enough. It's one of the worst runs of form we've seen at Old Trafford in a long time. And it's so weird, because away from home, before that defeat against Istanbul, we were on one of the best runs a Manchester United team has ever been on. Away from home, on the road, picking up great results, putting in some good performances. So it's a proper head scratcher. And I go back to it last week saying put some respect on his name. I still stand by that, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets criticised when we underperform and when he makes mistakes, and rightly so. As Manchester United manager, you are held to that standard. But my point last week was, whenever he does well, finishing third in the league last season, which was a good result for us considering the squad we had at the start of the campaign and the predictions that everybody made, third was a good performance for us in the league. He was a success in that regard last season. And I still say put some respect on his name, because, at times, in some games, big games, he'd get it right. And people would just be like, oh, well, that was because they underperformed, or they did this, or they did that. And I think that overlooked the things that Ole got right at those times. And he's got a lot of things right while he's been at Man United. But you have to ask yourself, is this good enough? Is this inconsistency good enough from a Manchester United team, from a Manchester United manager? And has he maybe taken us as far as he can? Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, the board have failed him. And you can think that the board have failed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And you're right to think that. They failed Jose Mourinho. They failed David Moyes. They've failed countless managers. And you can think they've failed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but also think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be doing better with what he has. And that's where I sit in that I think he should have been backed more in the summer. Even the signings we made, the manner in which we made them wasn't ideal. You know, if you bring Cavani in a few weeks earlier, Cavani's fit enough to play against Chelsea and Arsenal when Martial's out suspended. You know, you bring in Alex Telles earlier, he's playing for your team earlier. You know, the signings that we made, they came too late. We couldn't embed them into the team. We couldn't make, you know, a start with a little bit of momentum, a little bit of positive energy that new signings bring. We didn't have that. And maybe that could have taken us through that stage where, you know, you've had no pre-season, there's heavy legs, lack of fitness. You know, that boost that new signings can bring could have took us through that. And you can think that the board didn't back him. The board didn't back him. But you can also think he should be doing better, as I thought with Jose Mourinho as well. You can think that you want him to do well and you want to support him. And you can support him like I do. And think maybe he's taken us too far now. Maybe he has. You know, it's not binary. It's not black or white. There is a little bit in between in these instances. And you can think he should be sacked, which is fine, without disrespecting or abusing a club legend, which I think a lot of people forget about. You don't have to abuse him. You don't have to be a dickhead to give your opinion that you think he maybe needs to get sacked. And even if your opinion is he needs to get sacked, why can't you support him still and hope that he proves you wrong? You know what I mean? I find that really odd, because regardless of our opinions as fans, my opinion, your opinion, it doesn't change anything. The club don't care about our opinions. They don't make decisions based on our opinions. So regardless of our opinions as fans, ultimately, we still should be supporting this team to do well and win games. I don't get them people that want him to lose just so they can be proven right. It's really baffling. So ultimately, this guy's one of us, you know what I mean? He's one of us. He deserves our respect at the very least. And I think, you know, Poch now looms large. He looms large. But I also think Ole's done a lot of good things, if he is sacked, for the next manager to benefit from, whether that's Poch or anybody else. When you look at the shape of the squad when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer arrived, we had a lot more deadwood that we needed to get rid of. You can say we have a few now, and you know, you're probably right, but we had a lot more when he arrived, and he maybe took some short-term pain for the long-term benefit of the squad in terms of getting rid of a few players when the club didn't replace them for him. And we suffered at the start of last season, for example, when we had to play Daniel James, Andreas Pereira, Juan Mata every week. Was it a surprise we weren't winning games when we were playing games with that team? And, you know, I think he's really brought the squad into a better place. The age of the squad is a pretty good age as well in terms of the average age of the squad. When you look at the improvements in Mason Greenwood's game, Martial's game, Rashford's game, I think he's done good things with them. You know, the addition in the middle of Bruno and Donny van der Beek, although Donny hasn't played a lot of football for us yet, they're great additions into that midfield area. Alex Telles, a good signing. Wan-Bissaka, a very good signing. You know, Harry Maguire, although he's been poor of late, I think he's helped improve us. Dean Henderson coming back into the fold. I know that's not really up to Ole, but bringing him back into the squad has changed the face of the squad a little bit. And I think the next manager will benefit from what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done to this squad. I really think it's in a much better place now. And that's why, I suppose, there's even more pressure on him to get results. Because yes, while we would have liked to have signed a right winger in Jadon Sancho, while we would have liked to have signed maybe another centre-half or a holding midfielder, you can't argue that we don't have enough to be doing better than we currently are. We don't have enough to be beating Istanbul, to be doing better against Arsenal, Chelsea, because we do. And as we said, Poch is looming large now. We saw him there on Monday Night Football. He wouldn't really talk about Manchester United directly, but we hear from the Manchester Evening News that United have approached him about replacing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And you'll see this from United. They won't sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yet. They'll be waiting for another result or another couple of results to confirm that decision. But they will be lining up their next manager now. And it wouldn't be surprising if that was Poch. To be honest, it'd be totally poor business if United weren't interested in Poch. Let's be real here. He's a very good coach, and every single team, if they were to have an availability, would probably be interested in him next. When you look at Man City, when you look at, if Pep was to leave, I'm not saying he's going to leave. He's one of the favourites for the league this year. But if problems happen there, Chelsea, you imagine they'd be interested in him. So, the clubs will be lining up for Pochettino, and United and Ed Woodward will probably be getting an itchy trigger finger, the longer these bad results keep coming in. Now, whilst there's been that report from the MEN, Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic has also reported that Man United have given him the vote of confidence, which again, we heard last week. So those things are not always positive for the manager when the board are coming out saying, here's the vote of confidence. Now, do I want Poch as Man United manager? Everybody knows I wanted Poch when Jose was sacked. And if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future is, him getting his P45, then Pochettino would be my first choice. Does he resolve all the issues at Man United? No. He's still got to deal with the restraints of the board. He's still got to deal with the restraints of not a proper director of football, Woodward and Judge, doing his business. But he's a very qualified coach. And he'd be someone that I think could improve a lot of the players we have and improve the squad of players that we have too. But for now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still our manager, and I'll be behind him, despite the fact I like the idea of Poch as our manager, despite the fact I wanted Poch when Jose was sacked. I'll continue to be hoping Ole Gunnar Solskjaer proves any doubts that I've ever had about him wrong and gets the results to get us back. There was this time last year when I thought he'd be sacked by Christmas, and he proved us wrong. He finished third. I'd love for him to prove me wrong again. I really would. I don't like lazy shouts of the players aren't playing for him and, getting another manager sacked. They're getting another manager sacked. This is a completely different squad to the one Jose left. It's definitely a completely different squad to the one Van Gaal left and Moyes left. These players haven't got 3 managers sacked, and I find that kind of analysis really lazy. Also, people talking about, well, Fergie got time. Well, times have changed, and Fergie was a genius. Sir Alex Ferguson was a genius. These recent managers have inherited a different beast of a club. These recent managers have been able to spend different levels of money, and even with the Glazers, tying one hand behind their back, you could say. So I feel like that's a wrong comparison to make with any manager. But, managers have to earn their corn at Man United like they have to at any other club. And we'd expect pressure to be on any manager of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, AC Milan. If they were getting these kind of results, the pressure's going to be on. Now, it feels like we're heading for another manager. Another sacking. But I'd love for Ole to prove me wrong. So, I'm behind him. You know what I mean? I want him to turn this around. I want him to get the results. I want him to do well. But you do feel like this is heading one way at the moment. And the players haven't reacted to what's going on. Look disjointed out on the field. And those aren't good signs. And look, another managerial sacking means the boardroom have to look at themselves as well, take some responsibility. What have we done wrong? You've done a lot wrong. But the thing is, we know those guys won't take any responsibility. So it will fall down to another manager again. And who knows, maybe we'll be going in this cycle. Maybe Poch will bring us closer to where we want to be. Because, he's a better coach. But he's still got to deal with these idiots. And I doubt they'll be taking any responsibility and looking at themselves and looking where they can improve. And ultimately, that will continue to be a problem for Man United. So, those are my thoughts on the recent Poch rumours. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's position. Different weekly United this week, but it's a different week for United. The crazy world of United. Get your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, join if you can. For now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.